Right, here at RailsConf with Greg Nelson. Actually met Greg last night in the lightning talks, where he dropped a sort of a heavy topic, and I got to follow up with improv comedy. But worked out really well, and we liked Greg's talk so much we thought we'd interview him here. And so, what was your talk about last night?
So last night I gave kind of a talk about how I think everyone here really wants to make a real difference in the world with their work. Like, people that work on Rails and Ruby tend to be really passionate. So one of my passions is Africa and international development, and particularly in health. So what I told people about is I told a story about Rwanda, about the genocide that happened there and the great improvements they've made, and that how I think the process that we do to help people with foreign aid, we've given maybe we, being the world, have given about $3 trillion in foreign aid since about 1970, and there's still a long way to go, I think, in making the world a better place. And so I'd like us to focus more on teaching people how to solve their own problems instead of kind of like just giving them solutions to their problems. So I talked about how Rails would be is like it's like teach a man to fish instead of giving them fish, and that Rails, if you look at the logo, it's like this giant fishing rod. It's like this awesome fishing rod. So how can we go and teach people how to solve some of their software problems using Rails by training people in, say, Rwanda?
Where can people get more information?
So they can go to www.rwandaonrails.com. You can tweet me. I'm at Greg L. Nelson, and we have kind of a form right now, so you can fill out that form saying what your kind of interest is in. You can do so many things. You can do even an hour or 2 hours to talk to someone or do a code review, to mentor someone. There's work you can do from here, from wherever you live, and then there's also work that can be done in Africa. And so there's a lot of needs, I think. The more people are interested, the more things we can kind of do. And really, I think the sky's the limit in terms of how can we bring creativity, and in a new mindset to solving some of these problems, while taking what people have already done and working within the best of that.
It's a great story. Actually, there's a local tie-in for us as well. We had a local guy, Jason Sadler, and he's on Twitter as IWearYourShirt, or at IWearYourShirt.com. And so what he was trying to do is collect 1 million shirts. 1millionshirts.org, I believe, is the domain, and send them to Africa. He was trying to do something positive. And as it turns out, maybe not the best approach. Maybe we should have been teaching them to make clothes, and by sending 1 million shirts, we're actually sort of destroying the economy down there. It was not at all his intention, but it was an educational experience for him.
Yeah, I think it's a really kind of tough problem, and there's a fine balance between, like, let's say someone is dying of AIDS, right, in Africa, right? We shouldn't go there and, okay, in the next 10 years, we're going to build like PhD programs in Africa so that they can create an AIDS vaccine, right? That's not the right approach for something like that. But we need to figure out how can we balance, right, doing and kind of giving things and materials with really focusing on the long term. And that's always a really hard balance to make. And I think in software, and especially with Rails, because it's so much easier to learn, I think, than some other technologies, and to just get started with it, that balance is really, at least in my opinion, it's clear that we should be teaching people how to do things where it's already possible, where there's already infrastructure, people know the basics, where it's not like you have a problem, okay, now we need to wait like 4 years to put someone through, undergrad or something, and then learn how to program in Rails to solve this problem. So I think we're in a good spot there for software. This international development is huge. You should also check out, I think there's this book, it's like Travels of a T-Shirt in the Local Economy, that I just think of. Like, there's so many fascinating patterns about, like, these places aren't like where people can't do anything for themselves, or they're just poor. Like, they do all these different kinds of things. There's so much creativity, and it's really to get a full awareness of these kinds of things, and more of that full awareness, like you guys learned about, like sending 1 million T-shirts or something like that, is a good thing. All that's good stuff.
So started last night with a lightning talk, and I thought I was being set up for a tremendous failure. Turns out we had similar messages. Software is about solving problems for people. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And his improv talk was awesome, and I love improv. Improv is totally cool.
All right. Thanks,
Great.
man.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.